In the Federalist Papers number 78, Alexander Hamilton said that the federal judiciary would be the branch of government least dangerous to our rights. Is that how the courts are working in the 21st century? What makes the courts today so injurious to our rights? We get a clue from current Associate Justice Elena Kagan in a speech she gave at a political conference in Montana this past July. By comparing her statements to the Constitution and the writings of those who helped frame it, we should not only be able to answer what makes the court dangerous to our rights, but how to protect our rights from them. So we'll do that next on the Constitution Study. Hello there, everyday Americans, and welcome to the Constitution Study. This is where we read and study the Constitution. We teach a rising generation to be free. I'm so excited because the tour is coming up soon. In fact, it's just a couple weeks before I leave, so I'm really getting ready. I've got some dates locked in. I've got more information locked in. Find out more. Just go to constitutionstudy.com/tour. You'll find all the dates that have confirmed. You can even ask me to come out and visit your place. You can also help support the work that we're doing. I am incredibly busy right now. Just this past Saturday, I was doing an event not far from where I live in Tennessee. I've got another event this coming weekend celebrating September 11th, or I should say remembering September 11th. And then we've got September 17th, Constitution Day. I've got several events going on. And then I hit the road for the Knowing Your Rights Tour. So it's really busy. And if you can help support me, that would be wonderful. Help me bring this message to more and more people. I want to set up more tours, going to more places. And every time you donate, well, it helps me bring this message to other places because I don't charge when I show up. I'll probably talk a bit more about this at the end of the episode, but for now, let's answer this question about a dangerous judiciary. Associate Justice Kagan made a statement that many probably took in stride, but for me was jaw-dropping. I'm not talking about any particular decision or even any particular series of decisions. But if over time the court loses all connection with the public and with public sentiment, that's a dangerous thing for democracy. Now, as I said, I expect most people to read this sentence and not give it a second thought. But when I read it, I see the failure of the republic. Let me explain. Now, some of you may be thinking I'm pointing out the repeated lie that America is a democracy. We are not. We are a constitutional republic. Now, while that fact is important to understanding just how jaw-dropping Justice Kagan's statement is, it's nothing compared to the heart of her error. Justice Kagan is concerned that the court may lose its connection with the public and public sentiment. But the court is not elected by the public, and for very good reason. The court's job is not to court public opinion, but to decide controversies and criminal prosecutions based on the law. See, according to Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary definition of the judiciary, it's that branch of government which is concerned in the trial and determination of controversies between parties and of criminal prosecutions. The system of courts of justice in a government, an independent judiciary, is the firmest bulwark of freedom. The fact that a judge can rise to the level of the Supreme Court of the United States and think that the court should be swayed by public opinion should scare the American people. The branch of government that represents the people and the states is Congress, not the courts. How can we say that we have a representative government if unelected judges can supersede the representative branch? We are not a nation of laws when those who are to apply the law think they can make it up for themselves. What Justice Kagan is describing is not a constitutional republic. It's not even a democracy. It's an oligarchy. She believes it's the role of the court to determine public sentiment, then apply that to the cases before them. But who decides what the public sentiment is? According to Justice Kagan, it's the unelected members of the Supreme Court, the rulings of 9 high priests in black robes. Isn't that the very tyranny that we declared independence from? In his essay on the judiciary, which became known as Federalist Papers number 78, Alexander Hamilton described the role of the courts within the central government plainly. Whoever attentively considers the different departments of power must perceive that, in a government in which they are separated from each other, the judiciary, from the nature of its functions, will always be the least dangerous to the political rights of the Constitution, because it will be least in capacity to annoy or injure them. Hamilton starts out by stating the judicial branch is the least dangerous to our rights because they have the least capacity to injure us. But why is that? It seems today that the courts are frequently trampling on our rights. So how can it be they are least able to injure us? The answer comes from the rest of the paragraph. The executive not only dispenses the honors, but holds the sword of the community. See, the president is not only responsible for the nomination of numerous officials, but the commissioning of all officers, both public and military, as stated in Article 2. He shall take care that all laws be faithfully executed and shall commission all of the officers of the United States. Now, the president helps choose who works in the executive branch, meaning all of those bureaucrats that pass rules and regulations that impact our lives every day. Continuing from Federalist 78. The legislature not only commands the purse, but prescribes the rules by which the duties and rights of every citizen are to be regulated. So Congress controls the purse. They have the power to tax, spend, and even borrow against the credit of the United States. Furthermore, with the power to legislate means the power to make laws. These laws may impact everyone in America. But what about the courts? The judiciary, on the contrary, has no influence over either the sword or the purse, no direction either of the strength or of the wealth of the society, can take no active resolution whatever. The courts are supposed to have no influence over the sword, meaning the military and police, or the purse, taxing and spending of your money. Yet today, the courts claim the authority to tell the other branches how they can use the strength or wealth of society. Think about that last statement. Yes, a judge must sign a warrant, but the courts cannot execute it. A judge may even find a law unconstitutional, but they have no strength to make the other branches comply. Continuing on, the judiciary may truly be said to have neither force nor will, but merely judgment, and must depend upon the aid of the executive arm even for the efficacy of its judgments. Compare that to the view of the court Justice Kagan appears to have. She wants the court to assume the will of the people, then use that to force others to comply. This is not the courts that our founding fathers envisioned. This is not a court that offers opinions and not rulings. This is not a court with mere judgment, but with power. As she said at the conference, overall, the way the court retains its legitimacy and fosters public confidence is by acting like a court, is by doing the kinds of things that do not seem to the people political or partisan. While Justice Kagan claims the court retains its legitimacy by acting like a court, her expectations that they enact the sentiment of the people would have them acting as a legislature, not a court. Justice Kagan also claims she is not referring to any recent decisions of the court, though I would remind you that this is the justice who dissented in the same court's opinion that would restore the abortion question to the people and their representatives. A justice who complained that the majority of the court read the actual language of the Constitution as understood by the people who wrote and ratified the document. Does that sound like a court acting like a court? And lest we forget, this is the same justice who put her feelings about gun violence above the actual law. Now, what can be done about a judicial branch occupied by would-be legislators in black robes? Well, let's return to the words of Alexander Hamilton for some advice. According to the plan of the convention, all judges who may be appointed to the United States are to hold their offices during good behavior. The standard of good behavior for the continuance in office of the judicial magistrate is certainly one of the most valuable of the modern improvements in the practice of government. See, contrary to popular belief, federal judges do not have lifetime appointments. They serve during their good behavior, at least according to Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution, which reads, judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior. But who decides what is good behavior for a judge? Well, the first step is the House of Representatives. From Article 1, Section 2, we read, the House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers and shall have the sole power of impeachment. That means the power of impeachment rests in the hands of the representatives of the people, your employees in the federal government. This is followed by the Senate in Section 3, where we read, "The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments." Now, while the role of the Senate is to represent the states, since the ratification of the 17th Amendment, the people choose these representatives as well. That means the ultimate decider of what will be considered good behavior for federal judges is we, the people. During this talk, Justice Kagan made an important point. She said there were times when justices, quote, really just attempted to basically enact their own policies or political or social preferences. I would suggest the justice heed her own counsel. Her position in recent cases before the court seemed to be based more on her political or social preferences. They are supported not by the Constitution or laws of the United States, but by the previous opinions of judges, many of whom have been just as much political actors as Justice Kagan has been. Now, I hope by now you have seen the jaw-dropping arrogance of the little talked-about words of this Associate Justice. While experience tells me she is not likely to pay any price for her bad behavior, much less the oath she took to support the Constitution of the United States, I can only hope that the American people will take this lesson to heart. If we are to have a judiciary that is least able to injure our rights, we must make sure that those who sit on these courts be on their best behavior. And when they claim the power of the sword or the purse, that their bad behavior be appropriately punished. So what do you think? Did you hear that little talked about phrase? Did you realize just how important that is? The view of an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court is not that they are a court of law, but that they are a court of legislature and public opinion. That is dangerous to a constitutional republic. That is the justices acting beyond powers delegated to them by the Constitution. And it's something should be taken very seriously. Now, as we approach Constitution Day, I would like everyone here to decide they're going to read and study the Constitution of the United States. I have several proclamations from both my county and my state proclaiming that Constitution Week is a time for the people to read and study the Constitution, just as John Jay said. Now, I'm here to help. Just go to constitutionstudy.com to find out more. You'll find articles, you'll find resources, all to help you read and study the Constitution. And if you have any questions, well, just ask them there. You can also see on my calendar where I'm going to be speaking as the great day comes upon us. But you can also ask that I come visit you. Now, if you want to see where the tour is going to be, again, go to constitutionstudy.com/tour, and you can see where I'm going to be. You can invite me to join you, and you can donate to the cause to help me bring this message. It takes a lot of money and a lot of time and effort to take this around the country. I'm looking for people that are willing to come alongside me and help do this. Now, in my mind, the most important thing, as John Jay said, that we know what our rights are and that we are prepared to defend and assert them. That is our goal. That is our mantra here. So hopefully you find this valuable. Hopefully you'll support the cause. Hopefully you'll join. More importantly, hopefully you'll bring some friends and family the next time to the Constitution Study.